Hi, my name is Sandra Siatkowski, and I attended the New Student Dialogue on socioeconomic status. In our New Student Dialogue, we went and first we discussed the difference between discussion, dialogue, and debate. And we determined that in debate, the main goal is trying to win. You try to force your ideas upon someone else. In discussion, you're not necessarily trying to win, but you try to decide, or you're trying to just openly talk about a subject, but it's not near as emotional, and you don't give as much personal experience. You're giving more facts. And in dialogue, you talk very conversationally, and you're very open with the group, and you try to make it you try to at the end of it, you try to help other people's see your opinion, but you don't necessarily try to force it on anyone. You're just trying to get a common ground. So in my New Student Dialogue, we were very respectful of each other. It was in socioeconomic class can be a very personal topic, so we tried to be mindful of everyone. I would say that my group definitely achieved dialogue rather than debate, because we were very open and we were very mindful of each other's feelings. Our group, at first we were very we weren't as open with each other because we didn't know each other as well, and so we went around and played an icebreaker game where you introduce yourself and give a fact, and I think that helped open people up a little bit. So after that, we decided to start discussing a little bit about socioeconomic class. We didn't get into any deep topics, but we talked about we tried to just decide what makes people feel so personal about socioeconomic class, and we decided that because our culture puts a lot of value on money, it makes people feel judged based on their socioeconomic class. So at first, I said the voices were reserved, but as we came to become more open with each other, the voices became more active, and people started saying things that were personal, and they started to share, and we started to make progress with understanding each other's opinions. In the group, I definitely had some insights. I talked about my experiences as being middle class. I mean, most of the time, there's definitely stereotypes that go along with middle class, and I helped to bridge the gap, I think, between some other students, and I helped to give some insightful comments. We played a game in which was more of an activity where we had there's paper on three walls of the room, and we had to divide into groups of three, and we had to write stereotypical things of each class on each paper, because one big paper was upper class, one was lower class, and one was middle class, and we had to write stereotypical things. For example, for middle class, there's 2.5 kids, a dog, and white picket fence, and we did things like that, and we wrote them all up, and then at the end, we sat down and we looked at all of them, we read through them, and we saw some pretty hurtful things, and some very, very stereotypical things, and so then one by one, we got up and we would take the marker if we saw something that we did not agree with, and we could go up and mark it off and give an example or say why we didn't agree with the statement. And by the end of this activity, everything that was on the board got marked through. So it goes to show that there's so many stereotypes with socioeconomic class, but at the same time, they're definitely not necessarily true. There might be some extreme examples in which these are true, but most of the time the stereotypes are just hurtful and they don't basically describe everybody in the group. So we made that common ground, and we made it through that barrier. And after that, we played a game in which we all stood in two lines, and we would step forward if a topic was read that pertained to us. Or for example, one of them was step forward if you've ever ridden transportation or public transportation to get to school and work, and so you would step forward. And this was a good activity, I think, because we'd already shared our opinions on socioeconomic class, and we'd already talked and given some personal experiences, so we were more open and we were less afraid to step forward when something was read that pertained to us that was personal, because we saw other people stepping forward with us. And also it was a silent activity, so people didn't feel as afraid to voice an opinion. They just had to simply step forward, and they saw that other people were stepping forward with them, so they did not feel as judged. So I think that dialogue is a very important component of Library 100, because we all need to learn how to be open with other people's experiences, because in the world nobody is exactly like us. We all have differences and we're all going to have different opinions, and it is very important to be able to work with people that are different from you, because that's what the real world is going to there's definitely going to be things like that in the real world, so we need to be able to work with that in order to be successful, in order to understand people's opinions and not be judgmental. So it is very good that we dealt with the diversity and we learned how to openly talk with one another without forcing opinions. So that's why I think the new student dialogue was very helpful, and it was a great thing to incorporate into Library 100. And that's my video blog for the socioeconomic class. Thank you.